Welcome to this week's video. You know, owning an S-Corp can provide you with some big tax savings. Heck, you probably started an S-Corp because someone told you that this is the best entity to save on taxes. While I don't automatically think that an S-Corp is always the best choice, it does provide some good tax saving strategies. The biggest being potential savings on Social Security tax. However, there are other tax savings as well, and in this video I'll give you 10 strategies that could save you some big cash. So let's get to work. As an S-Corporation owner, you are required to pay yourself a reasonable salary. Although what is reasonable is not defined by the IRS, at a minimum you should spend time documenting what a reasonable salary would be if you were ever audited. And you could present this then to the IRS. Yet I see too many business owners don't take the time to calculate this, causing them to overpay potentially in payroll taxes by thousands of dollars, exposing them to potential audit issues as well. You can cut payroll taxes on the S-Corporation owner's salary by thousands of dollars in many cases if this is done correctly. I'll include a link to a video that I did in one method that you could use to calculate a reasonable salary. But keep in mind, this is very important that you get this right, and it can save you quite a bit. And this is the main reason that a lot of people select an S-Corporation, but it's not the only one. The next strategy is to deduct the S-Corp owner's health insurance premium payments. You see, an S-Corp cannot deduct health insurance premiums paid on behalf of a 2% or greater owner of that S-Corporation. However, there is a way to get around this. What you do is the S-Corporation establishes the health insurance plan for the owner. The health insurance premiums are then included and paid on the owner's W-2 wages. They're paid through the business. Finally, as long as the owner qualifies for the self-employment tax deduction on the personal return, this health insurance premiums are then deducted. But you got to remember, you need to put the amount of health insurance that was paid on behalf of the owner on the owner's W-2 in the payroll tax filings for that year. The next strategy is probably one of my favorite, and that is to employ your child. You see, the S-Corporation owner must pay payroll taxes on the child's wages, but the savings comes with the family's decrease in income taxes. You see, when you pay your child, the child can actually pay that in tax-free money because they can earn up to about $13,000 in 2022 without paying any federal income taxes. I've actually done a separate video on this, and I will put a link to this one as well. But keep in mind, you can deduct your child's wages, and that gets paid to them, and in most cases it's going to be tax-free to the child. So you're actually shifting income from your business over to your child tax-free while giving them a job and to employ them. The next strategy is to sell your home. Now this may seem a little odd, but stick with me. When a homeowner plans on converting their personal residence into a rental property, there could be big tax savings by first selling the home to their S-Corporation. The owner can avoid taxes on the sale with the home sale exclusion of $250,000 gain or $500,000 if you're married. Additionally, you increase the rental property's depreciation basis with this strategy, which provides for greater depreciation deductions for the property. Definitely check with a tax advisor on this one if you think this can help. The next strategy is reimbursement of home office expense. When an S-Corp owner uses a home office, the corporation may reimburse him or her for the expense of that office. This is a deduction for the corporation and tax-free income to the owner. You may deduct this as an office expense on the corporate return or the S-Corporation's return. Make sure to save support for how the reimbursement was calculated, and also check with your tax advisor on how best to determine and calculate this. The next strategy is to rent out your home to the S-Corporation. This one gets its name from the rental of homes around the Augusta golf course during the Masters tournament. An S-Corp owner may rent their home to the S-Corporation for 14 days or less during the year, and they get big tax savings from this because the corporation can deduct the rent and the owner can realize the income completely tax-free. The next is reimbursement of depreciation. The S-Corporation can reimburse the owner for depreciation expenses as well as what's called Section 179 expenses related to the business use of a vehicle and home office when the asset is used in the business. This is a deduction for the corporation and tax-free income for the owner. You may deduct this as a reimbursement for employee business expenses. And again, make sure you save support for this. Also, for the vehicle, consider using the mileage rate instead, which I'll talk about next, as this could be a higher deduction. And also keep in mind that when you sell your home, the depreciation charged to the S-Corporation and deducted would be taken into consideration when calculating the gain on the sale of your home, often resulting in a higher gain. Next, let's talk about vehicle and principal home office. There are major savings, tax savings with heavy vehicle and home office combo. The heavy vehicle produces quick deductions. The home office that qualifies as a principal office eliminates commuting miles, and such an elimination can dramatically increase the business use percentage of the business. I'll actually link a video I've done on the mileage deductions specifically related to setting up an administrative office for big savings. But in a nutshell, you are establishing your home office as your administrative office, even if you have a location outside. And what that does is that, let's say you travel from your home office to your outside location. If it's set up correctly, you can deduct the mileage from your home office to that business location and therefore increasing your deductions quite significantly. So next, let's talk about reimbursement of travel expenses. When an S-Corporation owner incurs travel expenses in connections with work in the business, it's imperative that the owner seek reimbursement from the corporation. In order for the corporation to deduct these expenses, the owner must submit an expense report and be reimbursed. There are ways to take business travel expense deductions when traveling for both personal and business reasons, but again, check with your tax advisor on what expense can be deducted or not deducted and how best to accomplish this. Okay, next let's talk about cell phone expenses. When an S-Corporation provides an employee with a smartphone or similar telecommunications equipment, primarily for non-compensatory business reasons, it's considered a working condition fringe benefit that is excludable from income. And usually fringe benefits are included in the employee, including the business owner's W-2 or as wages, but in this case it's not. The corporation can reimburse the employee for the full cost of the cell phone, including personal use, and can deduct this amount on the corporate tax return. This reimbursement then is tax-free to the employee. So in summary, here are kind of the 10 strategies that you should consider for your S-Corporation. And in a lot of cases, these things can add quite a bit of tax savings in the thousands of dollars each year if they're done right. But you have to spend the time and go through each one of them and figure out how best to implement in your business. So that's it for this week's video. If you got any value out of it, it'd be awesome if you hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you on the next one.